Welcome to a special preview of WoodWings digital magazine tools powered by Enterprise. They represent the publishing industry's first viable digital magazine solution. First, we'll discuss a little bit about the digital magazine solution itself. Then we'll talk about the content station feature that lets you package stories together and output the content. Then the InDesign tools that allow you to put together the digital magazine solution. And then the iPad application, which will actually read the files from a delivery server. The concept of digital magazines has been around for quite some time. Most recently, everyone has been talking about the iPad solution, which will be debuting from Apple. And today's demonstration will focus primarily on WoodWings' solution for delivering content to that device. However, our solution will also encompass a Flex application and an HTML5 version so that you aren't limited by any single platform for delivery. WoodWings sees the advent of digital magazines as being important for three very important reasons. First is the opportunity to reconnect with readers who may have moved on to news sources in different formats. Second is the ability to take advantage of new media in a convenient package away from the desktop. And thirdly, of course, is the opportunity for a new revenue source, not only from the potential for new subscriptions, but also from advertising opportunities. As for what makes WoodWings tools special, well, first, you get to use your existing team's skills, those designers who are already familiar with the InDesign environment. We also offer greater creative control without resorting to programming. Unlike a lot of other solutions today for bringing content to the web that require designers to learn jQuery and a lot of other programming-like languages, ours requires none. Our solution is also platform agnostic and will work on the iPad, on an Air reader, and in an HTML5 reader. And it will be available shortly after the iPad launch in the second quarter of 2010. Content for the digital magazine is created in both InDesign and Content Station. Content Station then packages up the content either for delivery to the App Store itself or to a delivery server. The branded reader application then connects to the delivery server, downloads the content, and makes it available for viewing by the reader. In Content Station, we have the digital magazine application. By double-clicking on it, we're taken into the digital magazine app that will show you all of the dossiers that are scheduled for publishing in a digital magazine. You can see that I can get access to my brands. I can then go ahead and see an access to my issues and perform the search that way. By seeing the dossiers that are specified for a particular issue, what you can do is click on any one of these dossiers to see any subpages that appear. So there's one there. Inside of Game Changers, you'll see that there are some other subpages here within the dossier itself. I can rearrange dossier pages simply by moving them, dragging and dropping. And I can also see a color block in the upper right-hand corner indicating the status. If I right-click on one of these dossiers, you can see that I can get access to properties, etc. If I double-click on a dossier, it will open it up, and I can see all the files that are inside of this. So there's an image, there's a layout, there's a video, as well as some other images. If I double-click on an InDesign document, it'll open it up inside of InDesign. Please note that the process you are about to see is a pre-release version of WoodWings' digital magazine solution. The actual released version may differ slightly in its operation. Also note that the images that you see were taken from the web and do not in any way represent a collaboration with Time Incorporated. I basically have access to a series of palettes. In this case, you can see Slideshow, video, and an animation panel that allow me to add interactivity to InDesign documents. I can put together a page just like I do any normal InDesign document. If, however, there's some interactivity that I wish to add, for example, let's say that I have a layer called animation. I have this image that I want to bring in and animate in some way. What I can do is click on the Animate checkbox and then get a list of animations as to whether or not to fly in from the left, the right, the top, the bottom, etc., as well as how long it should take for this image in order to come in. Similarly, if I go to a different page and say I want to have a slideshow actually for a particular image, what I can do is go ahead and bring up the slideshow panel, enable slideshow for this, and see all of the images that are inside of this particular dossier. In this case, what I can do is go ahead and make that a little bit wider. If I want these images to appear in this slideshow, all I have to do is drag and drop, and you'll see they become part of the slideshow. If I go to another page, and let's say I want to have a video enabled with this, I just go to the video panel, click on Enable Video. I'll see a list of any videos that are inside of this particular dossier, and then I just drag and drop. And there you go. While not shown here, there will also be additional InDesign tools that will debut with the solution, including active elements, which allow you to embed dynamic content from the web inside of a digital magazine, dossier links, which allow you to create hyperlinks inside the digital magazine issue, for example, to create a designed table of contents with images linking the pages, and hotspots and pop-ups, which allow you to turn any InDesign element into a hotspot that can show a pop-up when clicked, all designed in InDesign. Publishing a digital magazine is as simple as going up to the Export button in the Digital Magazines application. When I click on that, that will go ahead and create the files necessary for delivering to the iPad Reader application or to other digital magazine outputs that I have specified. If I go ahead and hide Content Station, you'll see behind it I have the iPhone simulator running as an iPad here. There is a slight redraw problem here inside of the simulator, but that isn't our fault. In any case, you'll see that I have an SI application icon that if I go ahead and click on, will show me the lineup for this particular output from digital magazines. I'm going to go ahead and just rotate this device to the left. That way it'll be a little bit easier to see. You'll see here now that I've got all of the dossiers that were specified in the output arranged the way that I had them in the digital magazines application. And if I go ahead and click on one of these items, it will go ahead and zoom in order to show me the image that has been created for that layout. If I go ahead and just double click or just tap twice on the image, you'll see that that little title bar that I had on the bottom is gone. And if I swipe across the screen, you'll see here's that first page that had that animation that I specified. I can swipe again and then see another image here with an icon that indicates that this is a slideshow. If I swipe across the slideshow, you'll see that I get a cube sort of transition here. If I double click on the image, it will actually zoom in and I still get the transitions that I had specified. If I double click again, it will go back to its original size. If I go ahead and swipe yet again, you'll see here is that image that I associated with a video. If I double click on the video, you'll see here I have the video playing on my screen. If at any point I want to bring up that title bar again, all I have to do is tap twice here on the screen. And you'll see that I can go back either to the home screen in order to show the other dossiers, or I can go ahead and click on this sort of index icon that will let me see the different sections, i.e. dossiers, that I have created. If, for example, I wanted to go to this thrill area, I can go ahead and just double click on it. You can see how it zooms in like that. I can also expand the page viewer again in order to actually see the different layouts as I click on them here. So you can see if I click on scorecard, this is what's here, and you'll see that whenever I click on one of these particular items, it will go ahead and slightly highlight it in red. So you can see the thrill. If I click on Game Changers, these are the pages that are part of the Game Changers story in the iPad application. And then to just hide it, all I have to do is double click on the page and it'll disappear. Pretty neat. For more information, you can visit our website at woodwing.com, or for the latest news, subscribe to our newsletter, available at www.woodwing.com/newsletter.